Todd, what about this shocking discovery made inside the FBI? This was incredible. Sources telling Fox News Digital that Director Kash Patel found a tranche of documents related to the Trump-Russia probe inside multiple burn bags. These burn bags are used to destroy highly classified information. Now, we don't know the nature of the documents just yet and whether anything was actually destroyed. But, of course, Director Patel told me about this back in May, that these documents existed and were soon to come to light. Watch.
As much as we know about Crossfire Hurricane, he and I just found out more last week, and we're continuing to work with Congress to put those documents out. That's how vindictive and vicious the former leadership structure here was. Not only did they bastardize the FISA process in light of the American public, they withheld and hid documentation and put it in rooms where people weren't supposed to look. And it's a good thing we're here now to clean it up, and you're about to see a wave of transparency.
But are you saying you found things that even you didn't know about?
Yes. I was the lead Russiagate investigator for the House Intelligence Committee. I'm telling you and the American public that we have now found material and information and people who wanted to hide it from the world.
Now, that was back in May. Fox News Digital reporting one of those documents is the classified annex to Special Counsel John Durham's report, which is now headed to the Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley for release. CIA Director John Ratcliffe broke the news about this annex on Sunday with me on Sunday Morning Futures. Watch.
What hasn't come out yet and what's going to come out is the underlying intelligence that I have spent the last few months making recommendations about final declassification and sent that to the Department of Justice that will come out in the John Durham report classified annex. And what that intelligence shows, Maria, is that part of this was a Hillary Clinton plan, but part of it was an FBI plan to be an accelerant to that fake Steele dossier, to those fake Russia collusion claims by pouring oil on the fire, by amplifying the lie and burying the truth of what Hillary Clinton was up to. And you're right, Maria. John Brennan testified to John Durham in August of 2020. He also testified to the House Oversight Committee in 2022. Hillary Clinton testified before John Durham under oath in 2022. James Comey testified before the Senate committee in September 2020. All of that's within the last 5 years. And much of that testimony is, frankly, completely inconsistent with what our underlying intelligence that is about to be declassified in the Durham annex, what that reflects.
Yeah, this is going to be something when this comes out soon, Todd. It's going to show that the FBI had plans to be an accelerant, as he said, throwing oil on the fire.
Despite
something to read.
Yeah, and despite Democrats insisting throughout the last couple of weeks that there was nothing new here, clearly there is a lot new, and it was contained in these bags. But Maria, this leads to a question that I just can't figure out. If they were in burn bags, and obviously the outgoing administration, the outgoing FBI infrastructure knew that, there was going to be a new president on Inauguration Day. That is scheduled. We know Inauguration's days between now and the end of time. Why didn't they burn what was in the burn bags by then? Did they underestimate Trump and the incoming administration that much that they wouldn't discover this information? It seems odd to underestimate a guy who won the presidency not once but twice and made it known to everybody that he was going to be coming in here guns blazing with loyalists who were going to do what they needed to do to get to the bottom of it. So why wasn't this stuff burned if it was in burn bags by the last administration?
Well, I mean, destroying evidence is a big deal.
Oh, I understand. But you put it past this cabal in the intel. They created a Russia hoax.
Yeah,
you think burning the evidence is past them?
No.